We're going live now with the school administrators. They've been lying, saying the students are all being treated equal. So we're going to try and get some clarity on this. So please listen in.
Here he comes. Hours are probably changed fine.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Lindsay Thurber. My name is Bruce Burma. I'm Director of Community Relations with Red Deer Public Schools. I'm introducing Dan Lauer. Dan is our principal here at Lindsay Thurber Comprehensive High School. We also have Stu Henry, who is the superintendent for Red Deer Public Schools. As we've indicated, we will welcome some of your questions. We'd like to be able to answer those in an honest and forthright manner. We don't have a lot of time because we do want to get things back to normal as quickly as possible. Teaching and learning is our main job, and that's what we want to do. But we will respect your questions. We also ask, though, that your questions be respectful of us, and we will do our best to get the information that you need. So if you can direct your questions to myself, and then we'll determine who's going to respond to this.
We've already talked to a couple of your students from the school. There was a Muslim young student, a woman, and then there was a young Caucasian girl that came out, and they said that there's a lot of groping going on in the school from the migrant students, refugees that are in there, and there's unequal treatment, and the students have been getting death threats, threatening to cut their head off.
Okay.
So I want to know how you're dealing with these issues. We're here because we're concerned about our students, our Canadian students, and we want to make sure they're in a safe environment and they're being treated fairly.
As do we.
And equally. And so that's the only reason we're here, but this is going on. You guys need to accept it.
I'll start with Mr. Henry,
Yeah, so I'd like to answer that one. So we actually just talked about that inside, and we are not aware of those allegations. So certainly if we were, we would take care of them.
It's on social media.
Let him finish.
Oh, right.
Okay?
Yeah, sure. We're certainly willing to look into anything that the students bring forward, right? So Mr. Lauer here is really an incredible principal and has gone through a lot this week. You need to know that he advocates hard for all children. So when children bring forward issues, we address them.
So what about kids on unequal treatment? Because right now there's Caucasian students that are not allowed to come to the school, but these migrant students are allowed to be there even though they were all involved in a fight. And apparently there was a belt involved that was used as a weapon to harm another student.
So I'll have Mr. Lauer comment just in regards to some of the specifics on this case and how that was treated.
Yeah, well, I guess first of all, I do, thank you first of all for being here, because we are absolutely concerned with everyone's safety, as you are, and the reason that you're here, right? What is not true is that people were dealt with in different ways. If you threw a punch or you kicked or you hit, you were suspended for that action.
For equal time?
For equal time.
So do you want to go over the specifics on the suspensions, who and how long?
So,
or just how many?
Yeah, you know what? In total, from two different incidents that happened a couple hours apart, there were 8 suspensions. 4 of those were for Syrian kids, and 4 of them were for Canadian kids, all for 5 days. The School Act only allows us to suspend for 5 days, and they were suspended for equal time. And the message being that you don't hit, punch, kick, whatever. And it has always been that way, will we continue to be that way. We do not show preferential treatment to anybody. Violence is violence, and kids need to feel safe, and our parents need to know that their kids are safe here as well. So I don't know how or why somebody would put out that it was dealt with in any different way, but it was not dealt with in any different way. We involved our RCMP because Red Deer has a fighting bylaw for anyone that was shown on that video to be involved in violence. We've also reached out to parents who, that if there was an assault that happened, that we said we would aid the RCMP because only parents can bring assault charges forward. And so we feel we've done absolutely everything that we can do. And again, I would be upset, and everyone would have the right to be upset if there was unequal treatment, but that didn't happen.
What about the sexual harassment of female students? It's going on.
Like 10 girls last night.
And there's death threats
So we'll,
on
thank
social
you.
media.
Address the question.
They're threatening to cut their students' heads off. Check social media.
And how about the intercom?
How come you're not dealing with those?
Why did
These
they
are
have
the
separate
students,
section
and
of
these
the
are the
school?
students.
Why can't they be mixed in with our students?
So they don't have a separate section of school. We have an
No,
ESL.
the students are saying.
We have an ESL classroom where they do language classes, but then they are integrated throughout the school. So this morning I went to check in, and we have them, kids are spread all throughout as their language
That's not what
abilities.
we're hearing from many different students, is that there are segregations happening.
So, and again, I've invited our parents to come into the school and see so that the truth is out there. Because the best way to combat untruths is to be there and see that. And so there are ESL classrooms side by side in one hallway, but kids are integrated. They don't stay in an ESL classroom for the entire day.
How are you dealing with sexual groping?
So we have not had a single sexual harassment charge brought to us.
They're afraid to speak up. The women are victims. They're afraid to speak up. They're scared. They're getting death threats online. So how are you going to deal with this?
You know what we would do is we would encourage them to come in, and we would absolutely deal with it.
They're afraid.
Or their parents.
They've been assaulted. They're afraid.
And that's what the message we need to get out is they're absolutely
You got to do
protected.
more.
And so we can only do what we're made aware of. And I would fully agree with you. If there was any of that brought to our attention, it would be dealt with.
We got it on video. We got a female student on video saying it's commonplace now. Sexual groping.
How do you deal with it when they're afraid to come forward? When you know they're afraid to come forward, right? You
Mr.
must
Henry,
know
do you
that.
want to maybe
You know
speak
what
to
I
that?
would say is I think in every kid's life there's an adult somewhere there that they do trust. So we would encourage the kids to go to an adult they trust and bring it forward, right? Because we can't address things that we're not aware of, and some of the social media that's going on is truthful and some of it's not. So we need to hear from the kids and the parents.
So we have a video from a kid. Can we send that to you? And she
I would
spoke from her
encourage- I would
heart.
encourage
She
the
spoke
student
from
to
her
come
heart.
forward.
She said she's afraid now at the school.
Absolutely.
And she says her friends and her are being groped.
And so we need to have that brought forward. Absolutely, we would deal with that. That's
We have
that
time
would-
for we have time for two more
Document
questions.
also
Okay.
valid to you.
I
We
have
have
a
time
question,
for two
sir.
more
I have a
questions.
question about segregation. Is it true that in your school the international students and the Syrian students have lockers at the back of the school?
They have lockers all over the school. So I would think that what happens is their period one classes where kids tend to put their lockers, and so they may start off in ESL and they would have a locker there, but I can't specifically comment on where everyone's locker is.
Because wouldn't that create a segregation then of all the students being different in one place?
No, I think if you talk to the vast majority of our kids, and our parents, that we're a very inclusive school. We have kids from all over that attend our school, and again, the message we're trying to get out is if you are a good person and you follow the rules, that you have a place at Lindsay Thurber and you'll get an education. If you don't, there'll be consequences, and we move on.
So
we
just
do
on-
need to know when things are out there so that we can deal with them. But I don't know how we could be expected to deal with things that were not brought to our attention.
How are lockers assigned at the school?
The kids get to decide where their lockers are.
All children, no matter what, no matter who they
They're
are.
not assigned lockers, so the students decide where they want their lockers.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we deal with something that we don't know what's going on.
There's also,
We would just ask the student and the family bring the issue back.
and just so you know, another issue that I'm not sure if you're aware of, the propensity for gangs from these migrants, because that's we have some migrant Canadians here, right here. Can you to share some insight on this so they understand?
No, my name is Admon Slaw. I'm from Iraq. I just when I saw the video, it made me sick in my stomach. That's what made me drove from Edmonton to come here. It's the video was short, but we could see how they're using their belts, how they're punching, and there was. You see their size; they're bigger than the others, and that's what upsets me because I know I'm ashamed of it right now. But I used to do it back home. When I was in school, I have a fight with someone. I used to run from the school. I go home. I call my brothers. I call my buddies. We all jump them. And these people, they're doing the same here. So you better do something with it now before it's too late. We don't want the Canadians here to be scared to come to school.
Yeah. So we're making
If I
you
could
aware.
just say one last statement,
Can we
and then
send
this is
that
just
to you
going
and have you guys
and
take
this will wrap
action?
it up. And that's, if anything good comes of this, I would just hope that it opens up conversations and students and parents are free to come in and talk to our administration about anything that's going on at the school.
So you might want to review your inclusive policy.
Forward with names. Are you willing to sign to go after?
You might want to review your inclusive policy. There's no reason to accommodate. Thank you, sir, for arranging that, eh? Thank you for doing that. It was really helpful. Yeah, excellent job.
Say something. They're not going to do anything.
So they're lying. They're lying. How can you trust them?
That's horrendous. They don't even know what they're doing.
They don't know how to deal with this.
They don't want to deal with the death threats. They don't want to deal with the groping. There's no way. They don't deal with the gangs.
I'm sure he was assigned a locker. He was given a number to go to. I'm sure he was.
Can we get someone's reaction?
Disgusted.
It's horrendous.
I'm actually kind of thinking about pulling my son out of this school. I don't think he needs to be somewhere where they're not taking this seriously. Like, this is ridiculous. There's assaults going on of our young girls. Do they deserve this? No, they don't deserve this treatment. Our boys are getting beat up. Why? And what are they doing? Oh, they're protecting them. Why are they protecting them? Oh, because we're afraid something's going to happen. That's why. Well, it's about time us Canadians decide that we're not going to deal with this anymore. That's why we're all here, are we not?
That's right. Yeah.
We are not going to stand for this. My son goes to this school. I will not deal with this. That's why I am here. Thank you.
Do you feel like you got any answers at all?
No.
Is there any
Just more questions. Just a lot more questions. Exactly.
Typical
Just
liberal
more.
approach.
And specifically, what do you want to know?
Everything that everybody here wants to know. Why is this still happening? Why will they not honestly answer our questions? Why are they allowing this to happen? They don't have to, but I'm a parent, so answer my questions. My son goes to this school. I do not feel that my son is safe. They did not make me feel like my son is safe or that I am safe anymore.
Could we get your name?
Letitia Lyle.
And how do you spell Letitia?
Letisha. Last name Lyle. Lyle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Good stuff. Thank you, everyone. Isn't it horrendous? They're not dealing with the sexual groping. They're not dealing with the death threats to our students.
They don't care.
They're not dealing with it, but they don't even want to hear it. They're not dealing with the gangs.
And it's funny that even that.
Yeah, so this is what's going on, everyone. This is Red Deer, but this is happening across Canada. This political crack culture in Canada